It is going to be one of the biggest regular season games in NFL history. And we are fortunate to have Tony Dungy, legendary NFL coach, and going to be on the call or the pregame show, postgame show, halftime for Sunday Night Football on NBC.
I have been around the league for 48 years now, and I cannot remember a regular season game this big.
Yeah, it's the NFL is billing it as the most consequential game in regular season history. And when you think of that type of what's on the line for this, as a coach, putting your coach hat on, what would you tell your team to get ready for a moment like this?
You try to make it just about the game and try not to think about everything that's riding on it, but you can't. And so you've got to embrace that. Okay, guys, this is a big game. It's like a playoff game. In fact, it's probably more important than a playoff game because it's going to set our path for the year. So we've got to go out and play our best.
That #1 seed, how important would that be for a team?
Oh, it's huge. A week off and 2 home games to get to the Super Bowl, as opposed to come right back, 3 road games probably to get there. Totally different path. Now, it can be done, so it's not do or die. It's not the end of the world, but you're certainly going to make it a lot easier for yourself if you win this game.
Most definitely. You are here in our facility for the first time, which I thought was crazy. What do you think of the place?
Incredible. I was in Winter Park for 4 years, and I thought that was a neat place, but this is incredible and great space and just a great atmosphere.
So you got to sit down with our head coach, Kevin O'Connell. Give us a little bit of insight. How's he feeling? What's his mindset right now?
I think he knows it's a big game, but I think he's very confident. He knows his guys, what they've been through, the camaraderie that they've built up, and the way they're going to play. I think he's very excited and confident.
What impresses you the most about the job that he's done this season?
I think the fact that, number one, it's such a close unit, and you see the togetherness. That's what you're looking for from your head coach more than anything. And then the fact that he's done it for 3 years with these quarterbacks, and it doesn't matter if it's Kirk Cousins or Nick Mullins or Josh Dobbs or Sam Darnold. It's just whoever goes out there, the team has ultimate confidence in them. And that he is able to dial up what that quarterback does well, and it spreads to the whole offense. The other thing I think that I really admire is the unselfishness of this team. And it doesn't matter if it's the running backs one game or the tight ends or the defense. Everybody's just trying to win. And that's what you want from your head coach.
How many of those characteristics from your coaching history have you seen in the teams that have won Super Bowls?
Oh, that's what it is. Talent, you need talent to win, no question about it. But I coached 7 years in Indianapolis. We're in the playoffs every year. Our Super Bowl team was not the most talented. It was probably number 4, number 5 as far as just overall talent. But the closeness, the desire, the attitude, the never give up, that's what Super Bowl teams have, and that's what I see in these Vikings.
Obviously, that is a product of Kevin O'Connell. It all starts from the top. And when we watch pregame this week, we get to see you sitting down with him, talking ball. Really excited to see. So for fans that are going to tune in, we know they're going to tune into the pregame show. For fans, what can they expect from that?
We talked about how you build that chemistry, how you build that attitude. And then we talked about getting your quarterback ready to play and what they do. I had breakfast with Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold this morning, and I asked them, what makes this system unique? And they said, well, it's very black and white, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4. If I follow my progressions, I'm going to have success. And it's just that confidence that he gives the quarterbacks. And then he told me something in the interview that really didn't take me by surprise, but it was just really interesting. He said on Saturdays he sits down with Sam and the other quarterbacks, and they cross out the plays that they've run during the week that they're not really comfortable with or they don't like. So he's only calling things that they have a good feeling about. And it's just that back and forth and I think that comes from Kevin having been a quarterback and having gone through it and sat in their chairs And they just seem to have a unique chemistry.
It all comes from that experience that he's had, which is really interesting. So it is going to be this massive game against the Lions, and the Vikings defense. It's funny because the matchup is, the #1 scoring defense against the 4th fewest points in the NFL allowed. They go head to head. What do you make of what's going to go down?
Well, Detroit is red hot right now. They're playing very well at home. They put points on the board. Brian Flores and the defense will throw some wrinkles at them. You're not going to stop them totally. They're not going to have 4 points or
that would be nice,
6
right?
points. It's not going to happen, but he will slow them down. The thing where I think the Vikings have a little edge, Detroit has some injuries on their defense. They have struggled, and I think this offense is going to take advantage of that. I look for a high-scoring game that's going to be won in the 4th quarter. The game here, the Vikings have the ball. If they make 1 first down at the end of the game, they're going to run the clock out and win. I think it's going to be the same type of situation where somebody's going to need a score or a stop right at the end of the game to win it.
Yeah, there's a lot of confidence also in the defense to be able to execute. I mean, they've only allowed 30 points twice this season, and once was against the Lions. The job that Brian Flores has done this year, could you talk on that?
He's been amazing, and you look at this defense, takeaways in every game, getting good field position for your offense, and again, the way they play, just the swarming, the attitude, it's been awesome. I'm going to throw a little commercial out to some of these owners who are going to be looking for head coaches next year. Everybody talks about getting the quarterback ready, and I want somebody who's going to develop my offense. I think you need to take leaders and get leaders, and Brian Flores is a leader. So if I was looking for a new coach right now, if I was running an organization, I might say, you know what, I'm going to look at Minnesota, I'm going to go after Brian Flores. Maybe he'll take Josh McCown with him as his offensive coordinator.
Man, you're trying to take everybody away from us,
I'll
Tony.
get the best of both worlds. I saw that with Washington this year. The Commanders, they take Dan Quinn, a great leader, puts a good defense in, brings Cliff Kingsbury, and they've got a dynamic team that's in the playoffs. And so I don't want to take away from the Vikings, but I could see that. I really could. Brian Flores has been a head coach before. You can see his impact on this defense. And there's such a good young offensive staff here. You take one of these guys and take the offense, I could see that as a winning formula.
Well, there's a lot of buzz around Kevin O'Connell as Coach of the Year for the job that he's been doing. When you sit back and think of that moniker, Coach of the Year, what are some of the qualities that you look for?
I do have a vote on that, and I do look for a coach that has done more than is expected. And I think everyone, especially when J.J. McCarthy got hurt, everyone said, oh, well, this will be a rebuilding year for the Vikings. Well, the defense has been phenomenal. The offense has played way above expectations. They're on this long winning streak, may end up with the #1 seed. And if you look at who has gone above expectations, I would say Dan Quinn in Washington after an era of not really succeeding and getting his team to the playoffs, and Coach O'Connell taking his team possibly to the #1 seed. That's what you would have to look at.
Yeah, just hearing you say that makes me kind of take a breath because it's just been such a ride this year. I wanted to ask you, when you get on, so Sunday Night Football, it was clear this game was going to be the last game of the regular season, the biggest game of the weekend. When you go on TV and you get ready for that, what are the nerves like? Because I mean, I know it's just TV, you're not coaching the game, but what is that like?
But when we have hopefully big games every week, but there are some games that stand out, and you know it's big, and you know you're going to have the whole country watching, and we're going to have 35 or 40 million people watching this game. And so you do know it's a little different. This is not just any other game. So it will be a little nerve-wracking, but it's going to be fun. Yeah,
it's going to be so much fun. Looking forward to seeing you in Detroit. Thank you so much for visiting us here and giving us some of your time today.
Awesome. Thank you.